There are many mountain walks that are often called classic routes, and sometimes it's best to keep these for good days when the sun is shining, and these days tend to live long in the memory. On this trip, I tackle one of these classic horseshoe ridges, and it's one that I'll remember for a long, long time. Oh, good morning. Hopefully you'll be able to see me and I'm not all blown out. Today I'm going to be doing one of the classic hill walks in Scotland, taking in 4 Monroes and numerous tops, and yeah, I've never done it before. There's a wee sting at the end as well, which I'll come on to, but for now I'm going to see if I can get up to the first Monroe for round about sunrise. I don't think I'll make it for sunrise. What time are we at now? It's 5:45 in the morning. Sunrise is in about an hour, so I think if I can make it halfway up for sunrise, I'll be doing well. But let's get up here and I'll report back and give you more information. For now, I just need to get going and try and make up some ground to see if I can see that sun peeking over the horizon. Let's go. It was a steep pull up, but before long, there was light starting to appear as dawn approached, and I was glad of that. It was quite nice to see these views that were all around. It's a rather spectacular place. Well, what height are we at now? Just under 700 metres, so I think I can turn this headlight out. There we go. Yeah, just under 700 metres. And the top of this first Monroe, which is called Sgurra Vaim, which I think means peak of the rounded hill, might be wrong, but anyway, sits just on 1100 metres, or maybe just under, I can't remember. But I'm not going to get there for sunrise, but I've got up quite high. I'm getting great views over. In fact, let me show you. This hill behind me with the pinks behind it is Stubban, but let me just show you this way because it's just as spectacular over here and the views are magical. Oh yeah, hopefully you can see this. Wow, don't want to get too close to the edge here, it's quite a steep drop down. But this big bulk of a hill on the left, left of your screen is Ben Nevis, the highest mountain in Scotland. And then going up here, you can actually see the Anach Beg and Anach Moor. Can't quite see, well I can just make out Carnmore Gerarg. I was actually thinking of doing those, but yeah, what a place this is. Glen Nevis is special. I don't come here nearly often enough, and there's a few reasons for that which I'll come on to, but I want to keep going up. There's a wee bit of a breeze now, which is quite welcome because it's cooling me down, but I'll report back when I'm at the summit of the first Monroe. Let's go. I still had a bit of work to do. You gain about, 1,000 metres in under 3 kilometres, and from where I'd stopped there, I still had about 400 metres of ascent to go to get to the top. So yeah, it was head down and plod on, but I tell you what, it was just a glorious morning to be out on the hill. Alright, so behind me is the summit of Sgurra Vaim at the first Monroe. It's 1099 metres, 1099 metres, but I can see now what I'm hoping to do. It's called the Ring of Steall, as if you haven't already guessed that. It's one of the classics. I have done all these Monroes, but I did them all in a oneer years ago, and then I've just come up them individually, which I'll talk about individual Monroes versus multiple Monroes, and I'll also talk about horseshoes versus in and out. So anyway, let me just show you the route where I'm going. So I'm going to be heading over down the Devil's Ridge over there first, and then over to this one, and then down. I don't know if you can make them out. It's not the skyline up here, it's just underneath it, down and round before dropping down to the sting in the tail, which I'll tell you about in a wee while. But for now I'm going to drop down. I need to get over the Devil's Ridge, so I'll report back when I'm down there. There's a couple of guys up here who've been camping, so I'm just wary that I don't want to intrude on their time. So yeah, let's get going. We'll see you in a wee while. Well, as I said, there was a couple of folk up there camping, so I didn't want to do too much videoing. I always get a bit embarrassed, but let me show you where I'm going. This is fantastic. What a view this is. Yes, this is the Deal Ridge. There's a wee bit of scrambling which I'll come on to in a wee while, but it's actually, I'm a wee bit chilly, so I'm going to get an extra layer on here and put my head torch away, get my sunglasses out. It's lovely. What a spot. What a place. Hard to beat Scotland when it's like this, really. Favourite time of the year, spring. Right. There we go, turned into the tango man. Oh, right, just stopped. As you can see, yeah, layered up now. It's absolutely glorious. What a morning. These are, as I said, these are the mornings that live long in the memory. You know, it's mild for the time of year, but I just love spring. This sort of weather in spring. There's still a wee bit of snow. It's not too cold. The days are starting to draw out. It's just, yeah, just a special time of year. Anyway, the crux of the route, what a lot of people get worried about is coming up, is the Devil's Ridge. There's actually a wee section, just, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but just at the bottom of the col here, there's a wee slab, and that's probably more difficult than the actual scrambling bit, which is, I'll put some footage up of it now. There's a wee bit of scrambling where you can go over the top, or you can skirt down. There's a wee bypass path which you have to be careful on, but anyway, I'm going to head down here. I'll bring you back at the other difficult bit. Let's go. I headed down, and before long I was at that slab, and yeah, I was up and over that, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful morning. And the ridge here is just, as you can see, it's a knife edge and some of the best ridge walking you can get in Scotland. And you know what, this time of year in spring, when there's a wee bit of snow and the mornings are like this, it's, you know, it's hard to beat, plus there's no midges. Anyway, on I went, heading towards the difficult step on the Devil's Ridge. Okay, I've come to the part that a lot of people will dread, which is the wee scramble over the Devil's Ridge. I'll spin you around and show you here, and this is it just here. You can go over the top there. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to drop down and round that way. I'm by myself, and you know what, I'll put some footage up now if I can find it, of when I did go over the top with my 360 camera, which makes it look a lot worse than it is. You'll probably watch that now. But yeah, I'm by myself. There's only a few folk around, so I'm just going to take the easy way round the bypass and then up and over. So let's do it. I don't have my action cam with me today, so I can't really video this. So yeah, let me take you down and just show you the way down, so you can see it's not too bad. It's just a sort of steep step here. And the scrambling's nothing difficult. It's just exposed, one wrong slip, and I could be in trouble. So I don't want to do that. So yeah, you kind of go down this wee gully here, and then around. Oh. Yeah, it's nothing too bad, quite easy. So let's do that, I'll bring you back a bit further on. Let's do it. So I dropped down onto the wee bypass path on the western side of the pinnacles, and it's not too difficult, but yeah, a wee bit of care is still required. If there is snow or ice in the ground, or if the rocks are wet, it can be quite slippery and there's still a bit of a drop. But anyway, once you're past that, it's back on to good hill walking and striding ground, and I was soon down at the Bealach and heading up the top, which was top number 3 for the day. There's a nice wee top here. Might just stop. Yeah, have a wee rest here, have a bite to eat, have some breakfast. It's just beautiful. It's a wee bit of warmth in that sun as well. Right, let's have some brekkie. Oh, right, let's get something to eat. Scotch egg. You won't be surprised. But yeah, this top here, let me just check. I think when I started bagging Monroes and all that jazz, I'm sure this was a Monroe's. I'm sure there used to be 5 Monroes in the Ring of Steall. Yeah, so think the other Monroes at the moment is Anne Bodach, and Gerenich another one. I think this one I'm on at the moment, Skur and Louver, which is just over 1,000. Sorry, yeah, 1,000 meters, 1,001 meter. So I think this was a Monroe for a very short period of time, i.e., like 5 or 6 years. I might be wrong in that. I'm sure there'll be some Monroe baggers out there that'll keep me right. But yeah, it's a lovely top anyway, and I can see over to where the rest of the route that I'm going to be going on. It's a few big drops and a few big pools to go. So yeah, I suppose the moral of the story is if you're bagging the Monroes, don't be surprised if some get added and some get demoted, because when I started I think it was 284, 285, can't remember. Anyway, right, shut up Murray, let's get this Scotch egg in my belly. Oh, right, hopefully I'm in shot. That's me left the summit. Met a couple of campers who I met further up on Skur of Aim. Caught up with me, had a good chat with them. Nice to meet you guys if you're watching the channel. But now the views down here are just spectacular. Right over Glencoe, I can see Bidgeon, the Buchel, all of Glencoe, really, Annaheague, over to Benavere at Ballyhoolish. What a day this is, right? Let's crack on and get to the top of Monroe number 2. I've just stopped here, probably at the head of the ring. The Ring of Steall is called the Ring of Steall because this, I don't know if you can see, let me just show you down here in the corrie, that's the Steall. I don't know if it's called the Steall Water or the Steall Burn or Steall River, S-T-A-L-L, and it drops out of this corrie rather spectacularly, and that accounts for one of the stings in the tail at the end. But it's a lovely, lovely horseshoe. That's where I've come from over there. Skur of Aim, and then this, there's been one top, 2 tops, then this next Monroe, it's called Anne Bodach, and you drop down, there's another top, and then 2 more Monroe, so another 4 tops to do. But yeah, lovely. It's just something nice about doing a horseshoe. Right, I'm going to de-layer here because I'm getting hot again, believe it or not. So I might put my cap on, take this layer off, and yeah, I'll report back at the top of Anne Bodach. Sun is on. Spring must be here. Oh, there's a wee cairn here. This is the summit of Monroe number 2 and top number 4. Anne Bodach, 1,032 metres. Here, I'm not actually sure if this is a cairn or the cairn that I've got the camera on is the cairn, but it's absolutely beautiful. Still got a long way to go. Let me put the camera on the cairn there because I think that might be the top and it looks better to have a seat. So let me just swap you around. That's better. That's probably not better because the camera's into the sun a bit more. But anyway, this is just turning into one of those days. I've had better days in sorry, I've had worse days in the summer. It feels very summer-like. It's beautiful without the midges. It's almost perfect. Anyway, I was going to talk a wee bit about the horseshoes, and this is obviously a horseshoe or a ring, a walk that goes round in a ring and finishes at the same point. And I prefer them. I don't know if you guys find that as well, because back in and out routes are fine, but you're kind of retracing the same ground, although albeit you are getting a different view, because obviously the view on the way up is the view behind you on the way down. Anyway, storm, state the obvious. Anyway, yeah, I just think there's something nice about horseshoe routes. They have a nice sort of completeness about them. The circle is now complete. I'm going to start quoting Star Wars now, aren't I? Who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? Anyway, right, it's 20 past 10. I've done 1,400 metres of ascent. This top, as I said, I think it's slightly smaller than Sgurr of Aim. I think it means the old man Ambodach. So, right, let's get cracked on. Let's get on and down and round, and I'll report back at the next top. This is absolutely glorious, so wow. Right, let's go. Just a quick update, there's a bit of a steep drop off Ambodach at this. I think a wee bit of hands on, I think. Then you can see out beyond me there the other Monroes and tops that I need to go over, but it's just lovely. And these are the other ones, I'll talk about these later on. There's another 4 Monroes to the east of the group of Mamors, Stabinian and Sgurr Eldimore and Nagrughaken, these sorts of hills. So yeah, I shall talk and tell you a wee story about them later on, but for now, time to concentrate and make sure I don't trip or fall going down this steep descent. Let's go. Let's be down the steep part. It probably doesn't look that bad in the camera, but it is pretty brutal coming down off Ambodach. So I'm kind of glad I'm off there. It looks like a lovely, gentle incline up to this next top. So let's get moved on and head on over there. I think there's still a wee bit of scrambling to go on the final top, if memory serves me right. But yep, we'll soon find out. This is top number 5 that I'm on now. I don't think it's got a name. I think on the map it's just a spot height of about 900 metres. So anyway, you get a nice view of the next hill, which is a Monroe, which I'll show you. Oh. So this is the next one. I think it's Stob Corriacarn it's called. Looks nice. So there's another dip before heading up to it, but it looks like I'll be there in about 20 minutes. So I'll report back when I'm on the summit. Well, here I am on Monroe number 3, Stob Corriacarn, I think, or Stob Corriacarn, the peak of the cairn of the quarry, I think it's called. And there's one more, this bad boy over here, Angeranach, is the final Monroe and final top. It looks like a right steep pull up that one, and this serrated skyline looks awesome. And over here, you've got the other 4, as I said, Mamors, and that's the way I did it many moons ago, and I'll tell you that story at the end. But yeah, I'm feeling it. I think sometimes one of the advantages of when you are bagging Monroes is you tend to do more if you can do more, whereas when you're not having to bag Monroes, you sometimes take the easy option, or I certainly do. You know, I might have just got up Sgurr of Aim to get a picture of the Devil's Ridge and then gone back down, but because I'm kind of doing the whole ring, I'm doing more. And I don't tend to do that as much now, whereas back in the day when I was bagging the Monroes, I would do multiple hills to get them all bagged, if that makes sense. So maybe that's an advantage of being a Monroe bagger. I don't know. Yeah, beautiful. Right, let's take some pictures, and then I'll bring you back probably on the top of Angeranach and let you know how I'm feeling there. Whew. I stopped to take some photographs here, but I've actually popped all the photographs that I took, well, the ones that were half decent from the day, on this short segment here. I hope you enjoy them. I'm kind of halfway down the Monroe behind me, it's up there, but this next one, it almost looks impossibly steep, doesn't it, from here? It obviously isn't, because this is a walker's route, but sometimes when you're looking at mountains face on like this, they look almost vertical, rock climbing territory. That's what it looks like, but yeah, I think it'll be fine. I know that the top of this bit, there's some exposed scrambling. Looks like there's quite a few folk coming down though, so yeah, let's get up here. I'll report back on the top of here. My knee's starting to complain a wee bit now. More about complaining on the top of this one. Let's go. After a short, sharp pull, I soon found myself on that serrated skyline of Angarvanach. That's me on the top of Angarvanach, and the final top is Angiranach over there. But this is the bit where there's some nice, easy scrambling. Easy in conditions like this. You can see the ridge that went along there. Maybe similar to in difficulty to the Carmore Jerriger, right? Maybe slightly more exposed, so maybe give it half a grade harder. But it's lovely. I can imagine this would be a different beast, covered in snow and ice. This would be a lovely traverse, but you'd have to be careful because as you can see, there's some steep drops. But anyway, onwards we go. Let's head over to the final peak, and we'll be sitting for a while there and take it all in. What a day it's been! What a day! I've still to tell you the story about the last time I was here, 2 decades ago. Right, here we are on the top of Angiranach, which actually means the complainer, hence why my knee was complaining. It's called the complainer because if you do the Ring of Steall in the same direction as I've done it, your legs and your body are complaining by the time you get here. But yeah, what a day, it's absolutely glorious. So you want to drop down a wee bit and then I'll tell you the story about when I did all the all the moors. But yeah, what a day, right, and I've still got the wee sting in the tail at the end, which is going to be interesting. So let's drop down a wee bit and I'll bring you back when we've got some views down into Glen Nevis. Oof. Righty-o. Oh, tired. My knee is sore coming down here. It's some descent, and what a descent it is. You'll not make, well, you'll make it out, but you'll not appreciate the grandeur of what I'm looking at. The bulk of Ben Nevis, Carmore Jerrig and the Annex, just right in front of me. You really get an impression of the size of them and why it's the biggest mountain in the country. It's a really impressive descent. It's hard to keep my eyes off the view and watch where my feet are going. Anyway, I was going to tell you a wee bit about my story about when I came up here the last time and I did the eight Monroes. I'm just going to sit down here actually. Let's just sit down here and I'll continue my story. Oh, that's better. A wee seat here. Oh, take my weight off my knees. That's there. Yeah, so I haven't done the Ring of Steall, but I've done most of it. I've done all the Monroes in it a few times actually, but never the complete ring. And the first time I came up here, as I said, over 20 years ago, there's a few things that I can remember about it. One was, first of all, I was going to be camping and I forgot my sleeping bag, so that didn't happen. But it was a beautiful day, probably similar to today, and I went all the way to the furthest away, my moor, furthest east one. I can't remember if it's Binion Moor or Binion Beg or Scour Eldey Moor. I can't remember. Anyway, I was only going to do those 4, but it was such a nice day, and that's when I was fit. Well, fitter than I am now and younger. I decided just to continue on. And the second thing I can remember doing was coming straight off the side of Scour of Aim, headed down towards the upper car park, which they say you shouldn't do now. But at the time, I'm pretty sure the books did have routes down there, but I remember it being blooming steep at the bottom. And that was a long day, and I don't think I got home till midnight. And the last thing I can remember about that trip was being stuck behind it was like a fair, you know, like the waltzers and stuff like that. They were obviously moving from Fort William, I don't know, east, and it was, you know, to be fair to them, they'd left it until after 11 at night, but unfortunately for me, that's when I was trying to get home and I just could not get past them. Anyway, I'll have memories from today. Hopefully in 20 years time I can still do this. What a day though, what a place, what a place. I am down in Glen Nevis now. Look at this behind me, wonderful. Anyway, the sting in the tail, there's 2 of them. The first is this magnificent waterfall, the Steall waterfall. I need to get over that, hoping it's not in spate. And then I've got to cross the River Nevis. I think it's the River Nevis, you should really check the map. And there's a wire bridge that I need to do that on, so that could be interesting. But let's see if I can get across the Steall Falls. Now, what is spectacular. Probably one of the most spectacular waterfalls in Scotland. I would have got the drone up, but I've run out of batteries in the drone, so anyway, believe me, it's spectacular. Right, let's go. Let's hope there's a way across. Right, so I made it across the waterfall. You can see it over there. It was a wee bit, it was just a normal burn crossing. It was quite difficult, but the sting in the tail is now here. Here is the bridge. You see somebody going across it there. So I need to get across there without falling in. I'll put you on hip cam belt, so the footage will be bloody awful. But anyway, let these guys get off it, and then I'll head across. Right, let's go. So as I mentioned, I didn't have my wee action cam, just had my my point and shoot camera. So I put that on my hip belt, so I really apologise about the really poor footage here. That was me crossing the wire bridge and making it successfully to the other side without falling in. And then it was just a long tramp back down Glen Nevis and then onto the road to get back down to where I'd parked the car at the lower falls. But I tell you what, I was glad to see the van, that was for sure. Oh, right, that's me back. As you can see at the van, I'm not going to lie, I'm absolutely knackered. I'm gubbed. I don't know whether it's because I've not done too many multi-day, God I can't even speak, that shows you how tired I am, multi-mountain adventures recently. But that was about, I don't know, 20 kilometres just under. I think it's about 18 or 19, and ascent was around about 1800 metres. So it was a big day by anyone's standards, to be fair. So, but yeah, what a day it was, fantastic. I'm glad I did it in the direction I did it in, which was anti-clockwise. I just wanted that, I wanted to get high quickly in case there was any inversions, and you know, try and get some nice light for some photography and some videos. And I love that view down the Devil's Ridge from this side. I just think it's wonderful. And the views just all the way around were just magical. I think some of the difficult slabs, like on the Devil's Ridge, it's probably easier in ascent, but nothing too difficult. In winter, I mean, I really want to come and do this in winter, but that could be an epic. I'm struggling in this sort of weather, so we shall see. I did take my crampons and ice axe with me. Weren't needed. I didn't think they'd be needed, but as you know from previous videos, I've been caught out at this time of year, being in the back end of Beyond and not having ice axe and crampons and coming across a big patch of snow which you can't circumnavigate, and yeah, that's when it gets serious. You can get away with it 99 times out of 100, but I don't want to be that 1% club. I don't want to be a statistic, but yeah, so the ice axe and crampons went for a walk today. But yeah, fabulous day. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next week for another adventure. Right, time to see if I've got the energy to drive back down the road. Right, let's go.